Hey everybody, welcome back to the farm. We are down in South Georgia at the breeders, and Gracie is in her stall, and Jean is across the way, straight across the way. But they can both see to the outside. They both traveled real well. It was about 2.5 hours down. I think it's going to be 86 today. But they're going to settle in. The vet's going to come next week and clean the stallion. And then the girls are going to start getting ultrasounded next week when the vet's here. And then he'll take over and start doing the ultrasounds and get them dialed in. And then he'll call me back when he's expecting to breed them, and I'll come back down here for the breeding. But they've settled in quite nice. They were a little nervous when they got here, but I'll take you around and show you the horses that are here. The stallion was extremely excited, and but they did real well. He's gonna let me leave my trailer down here so that I don't have to carry an empty trailer home and then bring an empty trailer back down here in 3 to 4 weeks. And then Jean is over here on the other side. You see Grace over there. So they can see each other. So Jean's here and she can see all the horses. They're gonna be able to get out of their stalls and go into the pastures back here in the back, which I'll show you. So inside the barn, this is Gracie, and this is Jean. So they got nice big stalls to stay in when they're in for the day, and then when they're out on pasture, they'll be together. And here's Felicity, Destiny, and Posey, the three that I kept over the summer.
Yep. Posey's on the fence line, Destiny's out in the middle.
Come on up.
Y'all remember those girls from videos? So there's the barn over there where the girls are. And this is their pastures. They got 3 pastures out here with 4 hot wires. So there's one over there. There's one back there in that corner, and then there's this one big one right here that I'm in. And then they've got a round pen up there. That's his 18-wheeler that he transports all of his full team on when he goes.
What you doing, baby? Huh? Tearing around because we got company? You want to meet the company, don't you?
This is Posey's baby over here?
Yep, both of them are.
Oh, both of them are
full
Posey's
sisters.
baby, full sisters.
Yep.
And how old are they?
This one's 3 and that one's 2.
And what's their bloodline?
That's Plum Creek's Poised for Perfection is out of GFP Lacey that was in the Jackson Fork hitch back in '08, and then the dad is BP Crossfire, who is out of Trademark, and so they're full sisters, except for when they're eating, they're best buddies. So when they're eating, they have decided that they got to protect their food. And here's your boy over here. Come here, baby. You've got to slow down and get yourself under control. Huh? That's tight.
And he's BP Prestige and what?
And Felicity. Felicity's a Challenger and Talisman. It's got Penwood's Challenger on the top of the bottom, and Talisman, which is a king daughter. I mean king son. king direct son, so king grandsire. Pleasant View.
Out of Pleasant View.
Pleasant View king down in Talisman. What? What do you want? What? Yeah. You smelled somebody coming in the driveway when they came in, didn't you? Yeah. You meet them. You meet them.
He's
Felicity's son
name.
had a Shady Creek mark.
He's a half brother to Tidy.
How old is he?
He is too.
In April, the end of April, but he's considered. He's a rascal. He's a very
He's
smart.
coming up on a full 2
Her
calendar
babies
years.
are super smart. Emily and Tidy are both smart babies. He's a little bit different. A little different style.
And he's also got
Got a
quite a
little
lot
bit.
more spark in him, just like Titan does.
Yeah.
First baby of Titans was born 2 weeks ago, a little filly,
She's something else.
and she's beautiful. And then the second one is Destiny's bred to Titan, so there'll be 2 babies on the ground this year, and then 4 to 5 next year, depending on how.
All right, so back at the farm with the dirty boys. These guys are the dirtiest babies. They get into everything. I mean, if there is red clay, they're gonna go roll in it. If there is dirt, it doesn't matter. If there's manure, if there's urine, they're gonna get into it. They are just filthy. I don't know why they don't take Gene and Grace's lead and lay down where it's clean. But anyway, they'll figure it out. Shedding these winter coats pretty quickly. So got them dropped off yesterday, Gene and Grace, and they're completely fine. They settled in very nicely, and he called me this morning and gave me a status update. They're going to go out on pasture today and get out there for a little bit, and then they'll come back into the stalls tonight. But I had previously told you that they were going to be AI'd. I told you that in a couple of videos ago. And he had told me that they were going to be AI'd, that he preferred to AI because he didn't want anybody getting kicked or hurt, which I agreed with. But he doesn't have a phantom dummy, a phantom horse, which is basically a breeding dummy, and it looks like a pommel horse that the guys would use in gymnastics. It may not look exactly like a pommel horse, but it's similar to a pommel horse, if you know what I'm talking about in gymnastics. And then they put a water bottle, a warm water bottle, in the back of it, and inside that warm water bottle there is a vessel to collect the semen once he, does his business, and he jumps up on that phantom and breeds it. And he's got a horse that they tease him with, a female horse that they tease him with to make him drop, and then they lead him over there to the phantom, and he jumps up on that phantom and breeds that phantom. But anyway, he didn't have the phantom down there. And so we're going to do live cover. So today is Friday. The girls are 14 days from when they had their ultrasound. So they should be coming into heat next week. And then by Friday or Saturday, they should be ovulating, somewhere in there. So the vet is going to come out on Tuesday. She is going to clean the stallion, and then she is going to ultrasound the girls and kind of see where they are, and then he'll get them dialed in from there. And then we're expecting to breed them on Friday or Saturday. The semen will stay in the uterine body there for a while, 36, 48 hours, something. It could be longer, but I know it's at least 36 hours. And then he'll breed them again a day and a half later, so they have another fresh dose in there, so that when she does ovulate it, you know, the egg should be released into some fresh semen. So if everything goes right, Jean will go into heat first, then Grace will go into heat second. She should be 2 to 3 days behind Jean from what we saw in the ultrasound. And then, so if they're coming into heat a week from today, and then Grace is 2 or 3 days behind her, then they have to stay down there for 14 to 16 days because he'll pregnancy check them and make sure they're good. Hopefully they'll take on the first time. So best case scenario, they don't get sick, everything goes right, fingers crossed they both get bred. Hopefully by the end of the month, 3.5, 4 weeks, I'll be going back down there to get them to pick them up. So as you saw, all of the horses looked good down there, and he's got it set up to where Posey, Felicity, and Destiny, as I said already, are not going to be able to get to him because for whatever reason, they did not like my girls. They were very mean to my girls when they were up here, and I'm not sure why. I guess because they've been together so long, Posey, Felicity, and Destiny, and they just never accepted my girls. They were very, very bullyish, very stepmotherish to them, and they just weren't real nice. They bit them the whole time they were here, and it took a couple of months for the scars to heal up. I mean, it was all superficial, but they're just not going to be able to get to them like they were able to get to them last time. When he puts them out, he's going to put them out next to the stallion so the stallion can get used to them. And they can kind of talk to each other for a little bit, and he can kind of get used to their smells and stuff. But Titus here is doing real well. The only good thing is when I left them yesterday, they were definitely whinnying for their moms and wanting their stepmoms to come back, you know. But when I pulled in this morning, they were both whinnying at me. They knew it was me that was coming in, so that was pretty good, I thought. And I don't have my mane and tail brush. That's why I'm using this body brush. I just don't feel like walking over there and getting it. I use my mane and tail brush on Max because he's so friggin' hairy. And I can use a regular curry comb on Titus here. But they're doing a lot better with letting me around their legs and stuff. But what I was going to say is Titus has always been kind of standoffish because Grace will not let him get near me. Max, on the other hand, Max just walks right up to me and doesn't really care what the girls think. They'll run him off, but he'll come right back. Titus will hang back. He's a little bit more reserved and watches from a distance. He doesn't want to get in trouble. But this is with the girls gone for the next 3-4 weeks. It's going to give me an opportunity to really bond with Titus, which is going to be good. They normally will come right up to me when I get here because Gene and Grace come up, and they just follow Gene and Grace's lead. But today they were a little standoffish, but as soon as I came over to the barn, they came right on over. So that was good. But I got to take all the harnesses and everything over to the barn, over to the shop, and then I'll come back and finish them up. On a side note, while I'm up here at the barn getting a few things, I made this Summit tongue right here a couple of years back, and I sacrificed the original tongue. The original tongue was mounted underneath and went straight out. But then Pioneer decided to come up with this Summit raised tongue, and I didn't want to buy one, so I got the dimensions from my buddy up in South Dakota, and then he sent me some photos, and I ended up duplicating it and building this one. But because I sacrificed this tongue down here and built the upright and the top and everything, I had some material left over and I didn't know what to do with it, and I've been moving it around for a couple of years. Well, out front where my mailbox is, I've had 3 mailbox hit and turned into splinters, and I am sick and tired of buying mailbox posts and new mailboxes. I was able to reuse the one mailbox 2 times, so I only had to buy 2 mailboxes, but I had to buy 3 mailbox posts. And they're cheaply made and they're super expensive. So with that extra material I had left over from the tongue, I decided to weld one up. So I welded this up. I'm gonna fill it full of concrete. Pretty good looking welds there. And the next sucker that hits it is gonna know we hit it. So I decided I would leave them over in the barn while I was gone. Not in the barn, but access to the barn. And boy, they just made an absolute mess. They took the harnesses off the wall. They took the collars off the wall. They got into the corn. They just made a mess of everything. They had a big time though. They were proud of themselves for the mess they made, but leave a 2-year-old around. I don't mean literally a 2-year-old, but the mentality of a friggin' 2-year-old, and just get into everything. They must have stayed in Max's stall over here because there's a lot of manure in here. I gotta muck all that out, muck the barnyard. So the plan is a week from today, I'm gonna go back down there and we'll at least be breeding Gene, and then I'm assuming I'll go down there Tuesday or Wednesday of the following week and we'll be breeding Grace. So that'll be in an upcoming video. I appreciate you coming along this weekend. As always, remember who you are, be kind to those around you, stand up for what you believe in.